What's going on, guys? This is Joe Spears alongside Kevin Bergsmith for the Week 12 edition of the Deep Dive. Kevin, how are you doing? Are you doing better than Florida State right now? You look like it.
I am doing better than Florida State. Like I've said before, Tennessee keeps winning. The Vols are keeping me alive this college football season. Looking forward to next week. College game day is going to Athens, all for us.
Oh, are they? I didn't see that. Did not see that. Huh. Hopefully Nico's good by then.
Hopefully, yeah.
I don't think it's anything serious, but yeah, not ideal. But you can officially put the Florida State season in the rear view. If you didn't before last night, you could now. So
yeah, I dropped it off a few exits ago. Yeah.
Look, man, I felt really good about that one. I'm not even gonna lie. It just warmed my heart. We're not here to talk about college football. We're here to talk about local high school football recruiting. Postseason kicked off on Friday night. Well, Thursday night, technically. We did have one game, but most of the games were Friday night. And you were over in Metro Nashville as South Gibson came to town. Pearl-Cohn hosted them. A lot closer game than I thought it was going to be. And I say that as it was a 35-16 win for Pearl. Firebirds take care of business, but not exactly maybe the night they wanted. I'm sure they probably wanted to run away with that game a little more than they did. But they took care of business. Your overall thoughts of the game?
Impressed with both teams. South Gibson, like you said, kept it closer than we all kind of thought. But Pearl took care of business. That stadium is great. The atmosphere was I was talking to somebody on the phone during pregame warmups, and I was like, I got to get off. It sounds like I'm in the club right now. I can't hear anything. They came out. South Gibson came out ready to play, caught him with an onside kick, surprised him, and then pulled a fantastic trick play at the beginning of their second drive. Had their receiver standing on the sidelines, acting like he was talking to a coach. When they snapped the ball, he blew by everybody, caught a long touchdown. Everyone kind of got tight in their seats, like what's happening right now. It was 7-6, and then Pearl just kind of methodically took care of business in the second quarter. It was 21-6 at halftime, and then took care of business in the third and fourth quarter to finish them off. So good win by Pearl, impressive. And overall, like, that program's great. I love what their coach and honestly that whole community has built at Pearl-Cohn.
Them winning the state championship last year was my favorite moment of the year. It's just this whole community came together. They won a game in dramatic fashion, probably a little more dramatic than it needed to be honest with you. But finally got that monkey off their back. Maybe not as good this year as they were last year. Obviously, they lost a lot of key pieces. Zion Simpson-Smith, I'm thinking of. They're still really good this year. Their three losses are they lost to NBA, CPA, and then Marshall County. So not bad losses. Still really good. They do have some things to figure out before they potentially make that quarterfinals rematch with Marshall County. So Javion Kennard, their big standout guy, he got a little banged up in this game. Hopefully nothing too serious with him. I mean, the kid's electric. We'll focus on the three guys you included in your notes here. We'll kick things off with Gabriel Lavorne, 2025 kid, big basketball player. He also did not play due to an MCL injury. Really good basketball player for him as well. So he's huge, 6'4", 225 pounds, big kid. Another defensive standout for him. And again, I think I said on our show last week, one of my favorite players to watch, Kyler Garcia, the Indiana commit, just plugs up that line like no other. Leads him in a lot of statistical categories. What do you think of him?
He looks the part. He was one of the biggest players on the team, if not the biggest. Stood out. He had the all white going on underneath the uniform. That's pretty easy to spot him. He was playing a defensive end in a 5-man front. South Gibson runs this wildcat type of offense. Just a lot of runs, a lot of misdirection. So Pearl-Cohn loaded up on the defensive line, 5-man front. He was playing outside. He was more productive in the second half when they moved him inside to a defensive tackle. Was making a little bit more noise against the run. But South Gibson only passed 4 times when he was out there. And on one play, he had half a sack. On another play, he had a hurry. So 50% of the time against the pass, he's affecting the quarterback. He was doing pretty well. And other than that one play early on in the first quarter, South Gibson's offense wasn't really moving the ball very well overall. and Kyler Garcia was a big part of that.
How do you maybe see his game translating to the next level? Obviously, Indiana program on the rise, 10-0 on the year, probably the hottest team in the country outside of Oregon. Everybody
Yeah.
kind of loves Coach Sig up there, and for good reason. And Kyler's a big Indiana guy. I don't see him decommitting or doing anything. He loves that program. How do you maybe see him fitting into that program up there?
Prototypically, he's like the perfect size for a 3-tech, playing right over the guard. And like I said, seeing him against the pass, his productivity against the pass, and seeing him just having more success against the run when he got moved inside, I think that's his natural position. And he physically stout, like he looks the part of a Big Ten D lineman, and go into a program that's ready to make noise. Like I really like him going to kind of not necessarily under the radar, but not one of the big boys, one of the true blue bloods. Yeah. Going to a place where he can help make a name for himself and them. I think he'll do pretty well up at Indiana.
I think he could come up there, maybe not start obviously, but he could play early. I mean, he's got the physical tools to really fit in that line well, and I'm excited to see him at the next level. IU fans are going to love him when he gets up there. He's a fun kid too. He has a great personality. I talked to him off the field. He's he's bubbly. I mean, he's a cool kid. IU fans are going to love him. He loves IU's campus. He thinks told me it feels like Hogwarts. So told me he needs to go to Notre Dame and really feel Hogwarts, because up there it does. But yeah, no, he's another kid IU's looking at is another kid on your list, Josh Sims, the cornerback, the 2026 quarterback for the Firebirds, one of their 14 captains as a junior. What do you think of him?
He looks really good. So like I said, South Gibson's offense was running this kind of wildcat all run. So he was a little bit closer. They only had one receiver, so he's kind of playing like a linebacker, like closer in to the box. Like I said, they only passed 4 times. They targeted him 1 time, which was incomplete. But he made plays against the run. He had 2.5 tackles. But he was just in the right spot, kept everything inside, didn't let anything bounce outside of him. Not afraid to get his nose dirty. He's very good in transition on those passes. Looks good as a natural DB. Really good reactive athleticism. When anybody came towards him, able to mirror very well and make a play. And then he also played 11 special team snaps. He was on kickoff. He was on punt. He was on punt return. Just doing things all over the place. His special team value is really high. So wherever he goes in college, like being able to bring that to the table, that'll help make him stand out very early on.
Yeah, he'll play early because of that. I 100% agree with you. He has, that's where his high upside, he's going to impress wherever he ends up. So still unsure on where he's going to end up, but they're going to get a really good player out of him. He has a high motor too. He's a big reason why this Pearl-Cohn defense has been as good as it's been the last couple of years. So, yeah, really, really like this Pearl-Cohn team. I could see him making them another long run. Don't know if they're a state championship team like they were last year, but if they're not this year, they will be going forward. I know he's not on your list. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here. The quarterback for Pearl-Cohn, LJ Funk. What do you think of him?
What did I think of him? I wasn't keeping stats on him, so I can't tell you exactly. He did throw a few, I want to say 2 passing touchdowns in that game. One was on a jailbreak screen to one of their bigger play athletes, Donovan Higgins, early in the first quarter. I think he had a second one in the second quarter. Might have been the one that the third touchdown. He's good. He's definitely got a big time arm. Pre-game warmups is where I could see it. He was slinging it down the field pretty easily. Like most young QBs, accuracy can be a thing to improve on, to work on. But he's definitely got the arm strength, the talent, and the size to get some eyeballs on him.
I think he is a kid we're going to be talking about in a couple of years. He's only a sophomore, so transfer from Brentwood. Donovan Higgins, another big time guy for them. I love Donovan's game. So Pearl just has a bunch of dudes. They've built this program to where they just reload. They don't have to rebuild. Their freshman program's always good. Their youth program's really good. Their JV program's really good, so they're not going to go away anytime soon.
No.
And we're going to just keep going out there and seeing Division I prospects coming out of there. So, you said you enjoyed Pearl-Cohn. You said it felt like a club atmosphere. What do you think of Catfish, the PA announcer?
Oh, he's awesome. That guy was awesome. He kept saying out like all these different catchphrases, trying to get the crowd hyped. I think on defense, I'm going to get it wrong, but he kept saying like, "Let's bring the funk. Where's the funk?" It was really fun. Definitely the most personality as far as any PA announcer goes in high school football around here.
It's not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close. So he's the best, man. Next week you will be headed out to Ravenwood as they host Franklin in a rematch of a region game earlier this year, where Franklin actually kind of kept in touch with Ravenwood. Ravenwood, my number 1 team in the state for 6A. Really like the Raptors team. They're loaded with Division I talent. Mainly, I mean, the guy you're really going to be looking at, Donovan Starr. The Auburn commit, he's a hell of an athlete. Simple as that. Does it on both sides. I'm interested to see what you think of Femi Babaloa, though. Their junior quarterback. Big-time arm talent there. He's improved so much from last year to this year. Then they have another quarterback, Maverick Chance, that's more of the scrambling kid. So they're loaded, man. They have the luxury of 2 starting quarterbacks, and then their defense just locks people down. So they're going to be good. And Ravenwood's one of my favorite places to cover because that student section gets rocking.
Yeah, in prepping for the game today, I was kind of shocked seeing their schedule of who they had crossed off the list, so to speak. Not only who they had beaten, but where. They won at Alcoa, they won at Oakland, and they beat Brentwood straight up too. Like all 3 of those teams are incredible programs, and for them to go into both Alcoa and Oakland and win, that's incredibly impressive to me. Even for a storied program like Ravenwood, that's loaded with talent, like that's really tough to do. So, when I was making my list for the postseason, they were one of the early ones that I was looking at. So I can't wait for Friday to see them in person.
Ravenwood and CPA they have the 2 best schedules just because of they're undefeated and they've beaten a ton of teams, ton of really good teams. I will be over at Shackle Island, Beach hosting Southwind in a rematch of last year's game. Beach got revenge on their mind, and they get the Jaguars at home. So, and this Beach team is very, very good. Their only losses to Collierville, I think, by 5. So I think it was 12-7, or I think it was 12-2. So, postseason action, it's heating up, man. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited to see what you think of Ravenwood next week. I'll talk to you then, and we'll recap. God, the second week of the postseason, as crazy as that sounds. So, I'm Joe Spears, Kevin Bergsmith, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.